Welcome to another Ask Zenler. So in this workshop, what I want to look at is bulk unenrolling students from a course. So there's a little bit of a disclaimer here. If you have students that have paid one-off, or they're paying a subscription, or they're paying on a payment plan, then you have to be very careful. In your terms, if you've said that the course is for life and they've paid for it, then you're breaking those terms and you might have to issue a refund. Any refunds you make will have to be done through the payment gateway in which they used to sign up to the course. So this is really important, guys. You need communication between you and your students to tell them what is going on. If they paid for a one-off course for life, then that's what they should get. Unless you tell them, if you've got another course you want to put them into, then you can do that. But you need to tell them what's happening every step of the way. This is not our problem at Zenler. This is up to you to administer your site and make sure that you're not breaking any terms and conditions. So let's look at courses. I've got into a course and you can click in here and you're going to see the students that are in this course. Here we go. So the usual way to unenroll them is manually. So you can go into each user. Now you notice I'm in the course. If I try to delete them, it's going to come up with user cannot be deleted. This user has enrolled in some of the courses. You need to unenroll them before deleting this user out. So you're never allowed to delete the user if they're in a course. This is for the safety of the system. So even if you click something like this for all names and you try to delete, you're going to get this message come up. So of course what you can do is you can edit that particular user, go into the course, and then you can unenroll them there, and then you're able to delete them manually. So this is the usual way in the system to delete them manually, and we've done that so to safeguard the student and you from accidentally deleting them out of a course when they paid for it. However, we can use Zapier to unenroll or bulk unenroll students from a course, and I'm going to show you how to do that. It's going to take a couple of steps to be able to do this, but I'm going to show you how it's done now. So first thing we need to do is go to student, and then you need to find the course that you want to unenroll all the students from. So in this case I'm going to use an advanced filter. I'm going to add a filter and I'm going to go and say user is enrolled in a course. Okay, so I'm going to say advanced level surfing, and then I can apply the filter. By the way, if you want to unenroll them from a particular course plan, you can do it this way as well. So I'm going to click apply filter. I'm going to click apply filter, and you can see it's only students that are enrolled in the advanced level surfing that are shown inside here under student, because I've applied a filter. So what I can do now is I can export these users out as a CSV file. So I'm going to do that now. I'm going to click export CSV. This is just going to export these users that are showing in the panel. You can see our CSV file has been copied to our downloads folder as a CSV file. There it is. You can quickly check that this is correct in here, which it looks like it is. And now we can proceed to the next step. Okay, the next step is to open up drive.google.com. So go into your Google Drive, and we're going to copy the CSV file we downloaded into the drive. You're going to see it's going to pop up here. Now we need to convert this CSV file to a Google Sheet document. So I'm going to double click on this, and it's going to open with, when I select it, Google Sheets. So now we've created the first Google Sheet, and this contains the users that we want to unenroll from our system. I'm going to rename it in here, and I'm going to call it enrolled. Okay, now I've done that, I've got this sheet. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump back to my Google Drive. Let's jump back to here. And you're going to see enrolled there. Now I don't need this one anymore, so I'm going to right hand click, just remove it, so for clarity. What I want to do with this one now is I want to actually make a copy of it. So I'm going to click make a copy. Now I've got a copy of this, and I'm going to open it up, and I'm going to delete all of the rows apart from the top one, and I'm going to delete rows 3 to 6. So I just got one row for testing purposes. Now I'm going to rename this to unenrolled. Okay, this will make sense in a minute. Okay, let's close this down. I'll just refresh this. So I have the enrolled students, which I want to remove, and I have this new unenrolled students that's just got one of the records that we're going to use for testing. Okay, so what we intend to do now is open Zapier and connect to this Google Sheet. Okay, I'm going to tell Zapier to delete any new records in here from the Zenler system. So we're going to set up a Zap using Zapier, and this will automate that process. Now remember, when we are bulk unenrolling, this is something we don't do very often. So this might be a per case situation as opposed to a full automated run of Zapier. So let's jump into Zapier now and set this up as a Zap. Okay, I'm in Zapier now. I'm going to click Make New Zap, and it's going to start the sequence. I'm going to start working with this. The first thing I want to do is in the search, I want to look for Google Sheets, and I'm going to click that. It's going to set up the trigger, and we're going to say trigger event, and we're going to tell it to new spreadsheet row, triggered when a new row is added to the bottom of a spreadsheet, triggered when a new row is added or modified to a spreadsheet. So you can choose either of these. I'm going to check this one, new or updated to a spreadsheet. You notice that it's going to happen instantly as well. So I'm going to click continue, and this is where it's going to ask me to choose an account. So you'll be connecting to your Drive account, and you'll be selecting the Google Sheet, which is there. And the next thing we have to do is click continue, and it's going to ask us which spreadsheet to use. So we're going to choose the unenrolled spreadsheet. Remember, the unenrolled spreadsheet is this one. This is the one that's going to be triggered. Notice that the sheet is called people list. So the next part is worksheet, and then we're going to choose people list. There it is there. And we're going to say trigger column, any column. That's enough. I'm going to click continue. It's going to ask you to test your trigger. Let's click test, and we should see that first record come up. There it is there. You can see. So it's connected to this Google Sheet. Okay, great. So let's click continue, and it's going to ask us for our next action, and this one we want to select Zenler. So I'm going to type Zenler in here, and we're going to click and select Zenler. Now it's going to action an event, so we want to action an event, and we want to come down to unenroll user. Okay, click continue. So it's going to ask you now Zenler account required. Choose an account. Now for this you might need to run through a series of connections. If it asks you for an API, that it will, you're going to go to integrations. You're going to then scroll down to Zenler API, click get API key, copy this and paste it into Zapier if it asks for that. Otherwise, if you've already got it connected, you can just select it in here and move on to the next step. It's asking me to reconnect it here, so I'm going to click reconnect. You're going to see it's going to connect to Zenler. It's going to ask for my API key, which I'm going to put in there. We just got that. Now it's going to ask me for my name, newzenler.com, and I can find this by going to my site settings, site settings, and you can find it in there. It's not asking for your custom domain, it's asking for that piece of information. Let's put that in there and click yes, continue. Now it's connected. I'm going to click continue. So it's now going to say choose account. I'm going to be choosing advanced level surfing. This is the course, advanced level surfing. That's the one I want to enroll them. It's only showing one, guys, because I've only got one course published. Okay, that's why it's only showing one. Okay, and it's going to ask you to enter insert data. So I'm going to, this is from the Google Sheet, by the way. So I'm going to choose first name here. I'm going to use email, which is here, and that's the only two required fields I need. Notice it ties up with first name and email. I don't need to do this, and I'm going to click continue. Now you can see the data is correct in here. So this is selecting Kevin, and I can click test and review. So I can click test and review, and it's actually going to run the Zap. So now I can check that Kevin has been removed from the course. So I'm going to jump back into here, and I'm going to go into the course, and Kevin should be removed now. Student, notice Kevin has been removed, so it has worked. And that is my Zap all done. So the final thing to do is turn on the Zap. Now the Zap is on, go to my Zaps, and we're ready for this to run. Now if you are using the free Zapier account, it normally runs your Zap every 15 minutes, okay? So beware of that. So what we need to do now is just go back to our Google Drive, open up enrolled students, select this down to here, copy, go to the unenrolled students, put the cursor in here, right hand click and paste. Now we've pasted those students in there, and I can now close this, and when Zapier runs this Zap, it will look for those new records and it will remove them from your site. I'm going to wait for about 15 to 20 minutes and check back here to see that my enrolments have been removed. It's also worth noting that although it unenrolls them from the course, it doesn't delete them from the system. Under students, you can see Kevin is still here, but if we click the edit button and go into courses, you're going to see that he's no longer enrolled in this course. This is just for your benefit, to know that you're not actually losing any data from here. You can re-enroll them in another course and they're still active in the site. They've just lost access to the course. So now you will see Zapier has run and there is no students inside of that course anymore. So we go to courses and we go down to advanced levels here and we look in students, then there are no students in this course anymore. So this is how you can do it. Now remember, new students joining up for this will still have access to the course because it's been kept separate by doing a document that we exported out. We have control of people that we unenrolled from the course. Now if you wanted to re-enroll them into a new course, of course you've still got the CSV file that you sent out. So because you've already got that file, you can import them back into a course. So let's have a look at that now. So if I went down to students here, these are the students, and as you see, they're not enrolled in any course. Okay, so that's fine. So if I want to enroll them in a new course, I could just import or export this out and bring them into a new course. Now, because we've already got that export with the users that we had, we can just simply import this back in and put them into a brand new course that we might have created. So if I do import users now, and I go to our people list, make sure the role is student, click next, keep all of this the same, click next, and say courses, and I'm going to do advanced level courses, plan to enroll there. So I've put them into a new course. As I've only got one, I'm putting them into the same course. And when I click finish, what will happen is it will import these back in, not replace them, but just update them. And if I now go to my course, you're going to see that I now have the 5 enrollees. Now, because this is part of the Zapier here, then this Zap next runs, it will unenroll them again. So if I wanted to stop that from happening at this point on, I could click here and turn the Zap off in Zapier. So that is how we can actually bulk unenroll users from a course using Zapier and exporting a CSV file, and also how we can use that same CSV file and import them into another course. Now remember that I was saying to you earlier, make sure that if people are paying for a one-off payment or a subscription, that you do inform them or you're moving them into a course, or you offer a refund, and you have to do this via your own payment gateway. But that is how to bulk unenroll users from a course using Zapier.